Throughout the course of history, many different tactics and weapons have arisen and were ultimately proven obsolete by another, newer technology. This cycle has been in effect for as long as mankind has experienced conflict. At the turn of the 19th century into the 20th, battleships were the kings of the sea, unparalleled in their strength. During the Second World War, however, a new weapon came into existence, one that would impact the world. The aircraft carrier and their complements of air-based weapons would become powerful enough to see battleships become obsolete. Today, these ships are a symbol of a nation's scientific and military power. But are they already becoming obsolete to new technology? The first ship to host an airplane takeoff was the USS Birmingham in 1911. This ship was simply a cruiser with a takeoff platform attached and wasn't capable of supporting a landing. A few months later, this changed. The USS Pennsylvania managed to successfully host an aircraft landing with the help of a towhook, a technology that is still in use today. The pilot performed both of these feats without harm. These accomplishments, however, were carried out on modified warships. This success gave birth to the first ship made specifically for launching, retrieving, and carrying planes. This new aircraft carrier was a British-made ship called the HMS Hermes, which was commissioned in 1924. Developments like these, however, were only the beginning of a new era of naval warships. Aircraft carriers started to really shine as World War II began. Carriers began to advance faster than ever before. They became larger, more expensive, and even more effective. In order to bring planes to a stop in time to land, carriers employed a tow hook system, consisting of a hook on the tail of the plane that would catch a wire on the ship's deck. This allowed better cycling of planes on the deck, making for faster servicing. Aircraft carriers began to come into commission at an increased rate, increasing the ability of a nation to insert air support into an area. Airstrikes could be achieved closer to their targets, reducing the need for fuel and fuel tanks on the planes. Also, the airstrikes could be repeated in quicker succession, allowing deadly bombing runs to have very small breaks between strikes. These advantages began to bring the carrier into prominence, slowly eclipsing the battleship. With a longer range provided by planes over guns, many nations in the war, including the United States, began to prioritize building these new weapons. The power of carriers in the doom of battleships was sealed in 1945 when a U.S. carrier force destroyed the Japanese battleship Yamato, the largest battleship ever built. Modern-day aircraft carriers look nothing like they did in the 19th century. They are larger, faster, and can sail over 20 years without needing to refuel. Faster planes with longer ranges allow a nation to project its power in foreign areas, even for non-military reasons such as relief efforts. The largest carriers can hold thousands of people, and in addition to planes, can also hold ground personnel. They include many decks under the surface of the ship for doing maintenance on aircraft and providing living areas for crew. The possession of a carrier is something only the most powerful of nations, such as the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, China, and France can obtain. In order to fit more planes on the ship, many designs feature large areas to keep aircraft on the flight deck, leaving a short distance to take off. This led to the implementation of a catapult system to pull the plane up to speed. The catapult system works by a shuttle that moves down the deck of the ship or by a large piston, and are powered typically by steam, air pressure, or by a hydraulic system. Another new power source on the horizon is the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, which offers more control over the speed and put less stress on the carrier, and requires much less maintenance. Some carriers use a ramp built onto the bow of the ship to give the jet a higher altitude upon takeoff. This feature is particularly common with the British HMS carriers. Despite the advantages brought by the creation of carriers, there is a chance that we could see them become obsolete, just as we did with battleships. The development of new hypersonic anti-ship missiles by countries like China's DF-21D present the potential to disable a carrier with a single hit. Investing in a multi-billion-dollar ship would not be wise if there's a possibility of it getting obliterated with the hit of a single anti-ship ballistic missile. Although the actual efficiency of these weapons remain untested, if successful, carriers would become an unpractical investment for nations to make. The potential of these weapons has already been enough to cause China to prevent US carriers from operating around China in the Taiwan Strait. If this technology spreads across the globe and falls into the wrong hands, it could prove to be an extremely detrimental weapon against the giant metal behemoths of the ocean. Carriers are not perfect. They have many flaws that can hold them back. They have little onboard defense. They need to be escorted by other ships, or they would be very vulnerable to attack by a ship or by airstrike. The only real defense an aircraft carrier has is the aircraft stationed on board and the anti-weaponry equipped. Carriers are also huge targets. They are so large, it would be difficult to not see them and miss them. Their size also has a devastating effect on its speed. The average aircraft carrier can only move at about 30 knots, or 34 miles per hour. These flaws really hold back modern carriers. With the modern targeting system of missiles, carriers are sitting ducks. As time goes on, countries will ask the question, what will replace the aircraft carrier? Just as the battleship replaced the carrier, a new tangible technology will surpass our current symbol of strength. As missiles grow more powerful, the possibility of more advanced anti-missile technology and new aircraft development looms in the near future. Aircraft carriers have advanced significantly over the course of the past century. Not only have they improved, but the jets on board have advanced just as much. These ships continue to allow planes to take to the skies from locations far from home and perform ground support and air interdiction roles. Despite their newfound weakness, they continue to affect warfare and the world today, just as they did in the past.